up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for December 7th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Saturday edition of the podcast. Before we get into it, some quick housekeeping notes. First, be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont at Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont. Like, all that other good stuff over there. And then continue to spread the word. Got a lot of good things on the horizon for 2025. We've actually been featured regularly in the On Pattison newsletter, so be sure to go check them out and give them a subscribe. And still working on some things behind the scenes to spruce up the presentation, so stay tuned for that. Still time to give to our gift and food drive. We have 1 week left already. Getting way more donations than what I thought, so thank you for that. If you are going to donate directly to the Matty Ann Dixon Community Cupboard, just be sure to let them know it's for our food drive. Again, the link for the GoFundMe is in the description if you'd prefer to just do a monetary donation. If you are doing the reverse advent calendar and you want to Amazon stuff to me, that's fine. Whatever works. There's so many ways that you guys can contribute, so I do appreciate it. And today's item of the day for the reverse advent calendar is canned fruit, any brand, any variety. I did a little bit of a mix that I got for the kids. So there's some pineapples, peaches, pears, all kinds of good stuff. But canned fruit is today's reverse advent calendar item of the day. And 25 days of kindness today. Don't forget your mail carrier. A lot of times these guys are out there and girls are out there in the rain, snow, cold, heat, all that other good stuff. Leave them a note. Give them a small gift. Just be sure to check on the Postal Service's website. I know there's some strict rules. I think it can't be a gift card, and it has to be a monetary or something that's under $20. So be sure to just leave them a nice little note and say thank you for their hard work and dedication. Be sure to go to Philly Goat, do some holiday shopping. Only a few days left to get your orders in time for Christmas. So be sure to go there today. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. There's all kinds of cool stuff. Ton of Saquon Barkley items. They have the coolers. They have the coffee. Whatever you want, whatever you need, they got you covered. So go there, phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery. And then check out my boys over at the Clashing Conferences podcast. Doing lots of good things over there. The NFC East was top-notch once again this week. They have a lot of good things going on with college as well. So that is available wherever you get your podcast, as well as on YouTube. All right, so let's start with a recap of yesterday's question of the day. I asked you, who is the most exciting rookie right now in Philly? And this one, I didn't expect it to be this close, quite honestly. But coming in with 41% of the vote, Matvey Mishkov is the most exciting rookie in Philly, followed by Quinyon Mitchell with 35%, then Cooper DeJean, and then Jarrett McCain. So thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. We'll have another one later in the show, but be sure to hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line, 267-495-8531. Get anything Philly sports related off of your chest. All right, Sixers. Got a nice little win streak, or not necessarily win streak, but a streak going, winning 3 of their last 4. 102-94, they beat the Magic last night. Magic are the 3 seed right now in the East, so this is a good win. Paul George looked way more comfortable again, dropping 21 and having 9 assists. KJ Martin had 20. So they could, I don't know, I'm not ready to jump back on yet and pull the whole Lucy with the football, but they got a nice little thing going. Rumors are that Joe might be available to play on Sunday when they play in Chicago. We'll see. I don't know how well he's going to do as far as conditioning and things like that, but that's the word on the street, so we'll have to see. But good win for the Sixers. I mean, like I said, the Magic, I don't know if this means they've turned the corner. They have won 3 out of 4, split with the Magic. I think they beat, who was it, Detroit, and then I forget the other I forget it, but it was another bad team. So we'll see. Maybe, just maybe, in a weak East, the Sixers could put a little something together, especially if Paul George continues to play the way he played last night. He looked like vintage. Well, I shouldn't say vintage, but more like the Paul George we thought we were getting over the summer. College basketball news. The Big 5 Classic is today down at the Wells Fargo Center. Fifth place game, Penn will take on Drexel. Third place game, Temple, Villanova. Should be a good one, actually. I'm anxious to see if Nova really has turned the corner and if Temple can get back on track. And then the championship tonight at 7, LaSalle takes on St. Joe's. Got to give it up to Fran Dunphy. If you remember back in our college basketball preview, we thought LaSalle was going to be one of the worst teams in the Big 5. Fran's got them playing well. As much as I hate to admit it, not a huge Dunphy guy, but he's got some good things happening there down on North Broad. So looking forward to kind of keeping an eye on those games today. But the Big 5 Classic down at the Wells Fargo Center. Flyers are also in action. Our most exciting rookie in Philly, Matvey Mishkov, and the Flyers go up to Boston, 1 p.m. for a game up there. Again, this is another good test for them, but the way the Flyers have been playing, I think they can hang and beat Boston. Boston is not as good as they have been in past years, so this should be a good litmus test game for the Flyers to see if they can continue going on with what they've had. But Flyers Bruins today at 1 up in Boston. All right, some good news on the Eagles front. Looks like Devontae and Darius Slay are going to play. I think Devontae, that's a huge boost for the offense. Dallas Goedert and Reed Blankenship are out. Cindy Brown is out. So that does leave the Eagles a little short at safety. Hopefully we do not have to see much of Avonte Maddox. I guess if he's going to be out and we're going to be short on safety, this would be the team to do it against. But I'm still nervous about this game. I don't know why. I think there's so much I don't want to say overlooking them from a fan standpoint. I don't think the team is overlooking them, but I have a feeling this game is going to be much closer. Working through the keys to the game, we'll go over that tomorrow beforehand, but I don't know, man. I think this could be one of those games where we're left with a head scratcher. But that does lead me to today's question of the day. Do you need to see the Eagles blow the Panthers out tomorrow to feel good about where they are? If you think back after that Cleveland game, walking out of that stadium felt like a loss. So do you need to see the Eagles win by double digits tomorrow to feel good, or a blowout, total domination? Hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. I kind of do. Like, I don't want to have that feeling leaving the stadium tomorrow like I had after Cleveland, where, sure, we won, but it felt more like a loss. And I just see this setting up as that type of game. I hope I'm wrong, but what are your thoughts on that? Do you need to see the Eagles have a blowout tomorrow? We're officially at the time of the year, though, where we start talking playoff clinching scenarios. There are many, many, many different ways that the Eagles can clinch tomorrow. The two basic main ones, they need Atlanta and Arizona both to lose, or Arizona and Tampa Bay both to lose in order to clinch a playoff spot. Obviously, they need to win too, but that's sort of where we are. And lots of talk on social media, on Sports Talk Radio yesterday about the number 1 seed after the Lions put up a pretty good offensive effort against the Packers. I think the Lions' defense can be exploited, but lots of talk about the number 1 seed and who cares about the 1 seed. And look, I feel you always have to go for the number 1 seed because you want those games to be played in Philly, especially with a dome team. But that's just my thought. I don't want to get in and steal other people's topics, but I just had to mention that because I saw that and I was just like, really? Like, that's what we're doing? We're saying who cares about the number 1 seed? And no, you want the 1 seed. You're going to be playing for the 1 seed because you want those games in Philly. Not even so much for the bye, but the bye certainly is going to help as well. But really to have those games in Philly. But this is where we are. Like I said, I'm nervous about this game tomorrow. I think over the course of the many years that I've watched the Eagles, they always tend to play down to their competition. I don't know how many times growing up I saw them struggle to beat the Arizona Cardinals, coming off the heels of beating like the Cowboys or the Giants when they were at the top of the division, or Washington. So they always seem to play down to their competition, and this is the classic glaring example of that. So, I mean, for me, for the question of the day, yes, I need to see a blowout. So let me know your thoughts on that. All right, today, we're going to go back to 1963. And on this day in 1963, it was the Army-Navy game back at the old Philadelphia Municipal Stadium, a.k.a. JFK, as it would be later renamed. This Army-Navy game was a special one, though. It had been postponed a week due to the assassination of John Kennedy. There were talks about canceling this game just as the nation was in mourning, and the talk of it's just a football game. It's not, in the grand scheme, in the big picture, it's not that big of a thing. But Jackie Kennedy urged them to play the game. She said this is what the president would have wanted. He would have wanted them to move on. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, where John Kennedy always attended throughout his entire administration, attended the Army-Navy game. So due to the urging of Jackie Kennedy, this game did go on, albeit a week later. 102,000 people showed up at Municipal Stadium to see this game, and they saw a classic. Navy came in ranked number 2 at 8-1. They were led by Roger Staubach. Army came in at 7-2, so they were very pumped up for this game. Army was coming in, I believe, on a 4-game losing streak to Navy, so there's always just that added extra juice for that one. CBS broadcast this game, and it was the first time they used instant replay on a live broadcast. Kind of didn't go over well. I was reading some stories that a lot of people were confused on TV. The announcers had to say, no, your TV is not broken. Army did not score another touchdown. We're just showing you a replay. It's a new technology. But first game ever with instant replay on TV. But Army, late in the game, made it 21-15, then kicked the onside kick, recovered it, drove all the way down to the 2-yard line, had a 4th and goal from the 2. The crowd was out of control, so much so that the Army quarterback could not get a playoff because he couldn't hear. They couldn't. They were scrambling, trying to get everything out because the crowd was so loud, and time ran out. Navy got the win, 21-15. They had no timeouts, and the crowd, all 102,000 people, were going nuts for the end of this game. Now, Navy would go on after that to go play in the Cotton Bowl against Texas for the national championship. Didn't really work out so well for them. Texas won the national championship, and then Roger Staubach did win the Heisman Trophy that year. But on this day, in 1963, Army, Navy played each other down in South Philly at Municipal Stadium, which would later become JFK. Navy winning 21-15 as Army unintentionally ran out the clock because they could not hear because the crowd was so loud. This game was a couple weeks after the assassination of John F. Kennedy, and almost wasn't played, but due to Jackie Kennedy kind of pushing it and saying, no, we got to play this game, it was played. All right. Finally today, our forgotten team in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Charge, another women's professional soccer team. This one, the Charge played in the Women's United Soccer Association, played their home games at Villanova Stadium. They averaged over the course of their 3 years almost 7,000 fans. So they were definitely a pretty popular team. They made the playoffs twice, losing both times in the semifinals. Probably most known for Heather Mitts playing on the Charge, and you might know her as A.J. Feely's wife. They were like the power couple in Philly there for a couple years. But they also had some other decent players. Doris Fitzgen, she was the 2001 Defender of the Year. Marionette Pichon, she was the MVP and the Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2002. The league did fold in 2003 due to financial concerns, and it's a shame because the Charge were a pretty popular team through, I think, Heather Mitts and AJ Philly. Just their high profile did help get a lot more folks to go out to Villanova Stadium to watch these games. But our forgotten team of the day is the Philadelphia Charge, women's professional soccer team in the Women's United Soccer Association. On this day in 1963, Army-Navy down at Municipal Stadium. Navy beat Army 21-15 in a thriller in a game that was postponed a week due to the assassination of John F. Kennedy. We'll have our 3 keys to the game tomorrow as well as our pick. We're 7-5. Got to get more in the black here. But we'll break down the 3 keys, give the pick. We'll have an update on the Flyers Bruins as well as the Big 5 Classic. Don't forget to let me know, do you need to see a blowout in the Eagles game tomorrow? I do. I really do. Maybe it's just me. I do think Devontae coming back is going to be a huge boost, and I feel slightly better about that. But let me know your thoughts. 267-495-8531 on the Back to the Future voice and text line. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for December 7th, 2024. I'm Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Saturday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.